February 24th of this month, you had to have a co-sponsor, and basically, or your petitioner, or your co-sponsor, your affidavit of support. If your petitioner earned enough money, that was really the end of the questions as to the public charge.
You can sponsor to bring someone here.
Right. فزمان كان المفروض يكون عندك كفيل في أمريكا عشان يقدر يجيبك للبلد.
And so now it's not going to be just the I-864 affidavit of support. It's switching from looking at whether your sponsor makes enough money to whether you, the immigrant applying for your green card or coming to the United States, will become a public charge.
زمان كان بيعتمد على لو الكفيل بيعمل قروش كفاية عشان يجيبك هنا، لكن هسه بقى يعتمد على لو أنت الزول المهاجر هتعتمد على الببليك بنفيت ولا لا.
So the public charge changes only apply to someone applying for their green card here in the United States. Technically, it doesn't apply yet to consular processing if someone is coming from Sudan, coming from abroad. But in all reality, the consulates have been kind of using this as a basis for the last few months.
القانون ده بس بيطبق على الناس المقدمين لجرين كارد.
داخليا. And for consular processing, it doesn't technically apply yet, but the consulates have basically been applying it.
والقنصلية كمان ما متطبق عليهم لسه، لكن هيتطبق في قريب.
Okay, so the public charge rule says you are inadmissible, meaning you can't get your green card or get an immigrant visa if you are likely at any time to become a public charge. That's what's being implemented.
Public charge, is that being yeah, I'll talk about the public charge rules.
Okay. فأنت ما ممكن يدوك جرين كارد لو في فرصة كبيرة إنك أنت ممكن تكون معتمد على public charge.
So one of those factors is if you're receiving public benefits, okay? But the likely to become a public charge is a totality of the circumstances test. So they have to look at everything to determine whether or not they think you are likely to become a public charge. It's not just one thing. So it's not just if you receive public benefits or have received public benefits, that's it. They have to look at the totality of circumstances.
فهم بيشوفوا على كل العوامل وكل الاحتمالات لو انت ممكن تاخد بنفيت ولا لا، ما بس لو انت بتاخد بنفيت معناه ما بيدوك، في عوامل كثيرة بعينه لا قبل ما يحددوا الحاجة دي.
So they are going to look at a 5-factor test to determine whether or not they think you are likely to become a public charge.
ففي 5 عوامل هم هيعينوا ليها عشان يشوفوا لو انت هتكون في public charge ولا لا.
They're going to look at the applicant's age, health, family status, assets, resources, and financial status, and your education and skills.
فهيعينوا على عمرك وصحتك، عائلتك، ظروفك المادية وتعليمك.
So they have to look at all of those things, okay? Not just one of them, all of those things. I know there's a lot of fear out there and there's a lot of confusion as to who this applies to. So this new rule only applies to adjustment of status applications, the I-45 filing for your green card. It also applies to a change or extension of status for a non-immigrant. So like if you were filing for a visitor visa extension, that's it. I-45 adjustment of status, non-immigrant extension or change of status.
والقانون ده بيطبق على الناس اللي عايزين يطولوا من مدة زيارتهم extension of visa and adjusting applying for green card.
Yes.
Okay. والناس المقدمين للgreen card.
So for a non-immigrant change or extension of status, okay, the government's going to look at whether the applicant received 12 or more months of public benefits during the last 36 months.
وحيعينوا لو في آخر 36 شهر هل أخذت أكثر من 12 شهر من مساعدات من الحكومة ولا لا؟
Okay. So the I-64 is still a requirement, right? So if you're filing, if a family member is filing for you, you're married to a spouse, they're petitioning for you, that I-64 affidavit of support is still a requirement. But in addition, there are more forms, of course, and more things that we have to do now with this public charge, okay? But again, this only applies to green card applications and change of an extension of non-immigrant status. It doesn't apply to lots of things. This does not apply to U.S. citizens. It does not apply to people who are already permanent residents.
والقانون ده ما بيطبق على الناس المواطنين الأمريكيين وعلى الناس اللي already هم عندهم green card مقيمين دائمين.
I think I just felt a collective sigh of relief in this room with that. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're already a citizen or already have your green card, don't worry about this. It doesn't apply to you. Okay? It does not apply to people applying for citizenship. So if you have a green card, right, and you're worried about getting these benefits because you think you're not going to be able to become a citizen, doesn't apply to you.
فلو أنت عندك green card وبس قاعد تقدم للجنسية القانون ده برضه ما بيطبق عليك.
This does not apply if you're filing an I-90 to renew your green card. So if your green card's about to expire and you need to file for a new green card, this rule doesn't apply to you. You're already a permanent resident. You passed that test.
ولو أنت already عندك green card ومشيت تجدده عشان الصلاحية قربت تنتهي برضه القانون ده ما بيطبق عليك عشان أنت already مقيم في أمريكا.
If you have a 2-year conditional green card and you're applying to get your 10-year green card, this does not apply to you. Okay?
Wow, this is good.
لو عندك الجرين كارد بتاع سنتين وعايز تقدم للجرين كارد بتاع 10 سنوات القانون ده برضه ما بيطبق عليك.
It only applies if you're applying for your green card for the first time. Okay? There is an exception for permanent residents who, if you have your green card, let's say you decide you want to go back to Sudan for a while and you stay too long. If you stay for over 6 months, then when you're coming back, you are technically applying for admissibility again. And then if immigration wants to, they can apply this rule to you.
ولو عندك جرين كارد ومشيت السودان أكثر من 6 شهور ورجعت تاني أمريكا القانون ده ممكن يمسكوه ضدك.
So the big rule there is if you're going to travel outside the United States, do not be outside for more than 6 months at a time. Okay? Go for 5.5 months. That's it. At max.
فلو عندك جرين كارد وعايز تمشي تسافر برا ما تقعد أكثر من 6 شهور 5 شهور ونص أكثر حاجة.
It can also apply if you're a permanent resident and you're going abroad and you have a criminal conviction that you've gotten since you got your green card that could possibly affect you. If you have your green card, if you have any sort of criminal conviction, and no, this does not mean speeding tickets or parking tickets or things like that, talk to an immigration attorney before you leave to see if you're going to have any problems coming back.
ولو عندك سجل إجرامي حاجات أكبر من مخالفات الحركة وسافرت شوف قابل محامي قبل ما تسافر عشان تتأكد لو القانون ده هيطبق ضدك ولا لا.
So again, to review, this doesn't apply to U.S. citizens. It does not apply to permanent residents if you have your green card. It doesn't apply to TPS applicants. It does not apply to DACA applicants. It does not apply to refugees or asylees. Okay?
فعشان بس نعيد إنه ما بتطبق ضد المواطنين والناس اللي عندهم green card واللي عندهم DACA what's TPS?
Temporary protective status.
أو الناس اللي عندهم status مؤقت.
Refugees.
واللاجئين كمان. Students as well? Oh, and asylees as well.
Okay, so we talked about how this rule applies when you're filing for your green card, right? But there are certain categories of people who are applying for green cards that this rule still does not apply to.
وفي ناس حيقدموا الجرين كارد لكن برضو القانون ده ممكن ما يطبق ضدهم.
So, if you are going to apply for a green card based on one of the following categories, this rule does not apply to you. If you're a refugee or an asylee and have been here for at least a year and are applying for your green card, it doesn't apply to you.
فلو انت جيت كلاجئ ولك سنة هنا وعايز تقدم لجرين كارد ممكن تقدم عادي، القانون ده ما عندش ضدك.
I don't know if there's anybody from these next three groups in here, probably not, but it doesn't apply to the Cuban Adjustment Act, so Cubans, NACARA applicants, or the Haitian Adjustment applicants. Not Haitian, but the Haitian, HRFA is the name.
وبرضه ما في دول هنا من البلدان دي، لكن برضه ما بتطبق ضد الكيوبنز ومن نيكارا and Haitians.
If you are applying for your green card based on having a U visa or a T visa, it doesn't apply to you.
وبرضه لو عندك U visa ولا T visa ممكن تقدم لجرين كارد عادي.
So a U visa is someone who was a victim of a specified crime, and usually they're crimes against the person. So most of my clients have been victims of either domestic violence or sexual violence, or maybe their children have, or assault of some nature, and they can qualify for a U visa if they cooperated in the investigation or prosecution of that crime.
اليو فيزا هم الناس اللي كانوا ضحايا عنف وعايزين يقدموا الجرين كارد.
And a T visa is for someone who's been a victim of trafficking.
والتي فيزا هم الناس اللي كانوا ضحايا الاختطاف.
So if you're applying for adjustment based on one of those two categories, this doesn't apply to you either.
فلو انت عندك يو فيزا ولا تي فيزا ممكن تقدم لجرين كارد عادي.
If you're applying for a green card based on having a special immigrant juvenile status, or VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, domestic violence, doesn't apply to you. Special immigrant juvenile status. It's for kids that
kids under 18 إذا عملت جريمة وأنت under 18 juveniles.
اوكي، لو انت طفل تحت سن ال 18 وعملت جريمة برضه ممكن تقدم ما مشكلة. And the second one is والناس مع العنف ضد النساء.
So VAWA is someone who is either the spouse, child, sometimes parent of a U.S. citizen or permanent resident that has been the victim of domestic abuse.
الناس اللي كانوا ضحايا العنف الأسري.
And then the last category is Afghan and Iraqi special visa interpreters. It doesn't apply to them either, the public charge rule.
والناس اللي من أفغانستان والعراق برضو ما بتطبق ضدهم.
So there are still quite a few categories that even if you're applying for a green card, this public charge rule will not apply to you.
ففي فئات كثيرة برضو الرول الجديد ده ما عنده حاجة ضدهم.
So the public benefits means if someone has received one or more public benefits for more than 12 months in the aggregate within any 36-month period.
والناس اللي عندهم public benefit بعرفهم كالناس اللي لأكثر من 12 شهر في مدة 36 شهر كانوا بياخدوا benefits ولا مساعدات من الحكومة.
So what that basically means is that immigration will look at the 36 months starting from February 24th, and at any time in total you've gotten a benefit for 12 months or more, the public charge rule might kick in.
فلو لقوك ماخذ مساعدات لأكثر من 12 شهر ممكن الببليك تشارج ممكن يكون ضدك.
And each benefit you receive counts for a month. So if you receive 2 benefits in 1 month, then it counts for 2 months.
وكل مساعدة بيحسبوها كشهر، فلو عندك مساعدتين في شهر واحد بيحسبوها لك شهرين.
So again, remember, this applies to the applicant, the person applying for their green card. This doesn't apply to your U.S. citizen children or your permanent resident children. This applies to the person that's applying for their green card.
ومرة تانية ده بس بتطبق على الناس المقدمين للجرين كارد، ما للأطفال المواطنين ولا للناس اللي already عندهم إقامة دائمة ولا جنسية.
So we'll talk about it in just a little bit, but that basically means kids are receiving benefits that they're legally entitled to. Don't take them off of those benefits, okay?
فلو عندكم أطفال بياخدوا مساعدات وهم مواطنين ما عندهم مشكلة الحاجة دي، لأنه دي حاجة من حقهم.
So, and there are only certain public benefits that count under this public charge rule, okay? So the public benefits that could affect the public charge rule are SSI, Social Security, Supplemental Social Security Income, TANF, which is Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, any federal, state, local, or cash benefits.
وتحت المساعدات الحكومية في برضو فئات عدد بسيط من البنفيتس اللي هو بيقع تحت الببليك تشارج رول، اللي هو Supplemental Security Income ال SSI وال TANF اللي هو المساعدات للأسر المحتاجة، ولا الكاش اللي تديه الحكومة للعائلات المحتاجة.
SNAP benefits, which includes food stamps, Section 8 housing assistance, and Section 8 rental assistance.
والفود ستامب ومساعدات Section 8.
Medicaid, and then public housing under Section 9.
والميديكيد والببليك هاوسينج تحت Section 9.
Again, this is just the applicant. This isn't your children, this isn't your spouses, it's the applicant, okay? Only the person applying for their green card, not anybody else, okay? And the weird thing about this, and the frustrating thing about this, is that if you're not a permanent resident already, if you're not a citizen, you're not even eligible for these benefits anyway.
ومرة تانية ده بس للزول المقدم للجرين كارد، وفي حالات كثيرة مرات الزول اللي بيكون مقدم مرات ما بيكون مسموح له أصلا ياخذ المساعدات دي.
Really, the only people sometimes that are going to be eligible for these benefits are refugees and asylees. And again, this public charge change rule, does not apply to people applying for the green card who are refugees or asylees.
وكثير منهم بيكونوا ناس لاجئين، وزي ما احنا already قلنا إنه اللاجئين ما بتطبق عليهم أصلا ال public charge.
So what's really the reason for the rule?
That is why.
Just saying.
كلهم طلعتهم برا.
There are some exemptions under the Medicaid rules as well. So emergency Medicaid, services provided for individuals with Disabilities Education Act, school-based services, benefits received by anyone under the age of 21 years old, and benefits received by pregnant women. So if they have those, if they're in one of these categories, then
This will apply.
Public benefit.
وتحت الميديكيد لو عندك حالة طارئة emergency اضطريت تمشي emergency room تحت ميديكيد، ولا لو أنت تحت سن 21، ولا لو عندك إعاقة دي ما بتعتبر public benefit. فلو عملت الحياة دي عادي ما عندهم شيء ضدك.
So again, most foreign nationals don't qualify for Medicaid until they've even had their green card for 5 years. And this doesn't apply to people who already have their green card. So why do we have this rule?
والميديكيد عادة بيجي للناس بعد ما بيجوا مقيمين لهم 5 سنين أو أكثر. فإحنا بس بنقول شنو فائدة القانون الجديد ده.
So just specific programs, because I know like a lot of these programs are like, well, what else is included in that? So it doesn't apply to CHIP, so Hawkeye, doesn't apply to WIC. School food programs, if you get free or reduced lunch, that's not part of this public charge stuff. Energy assistance, if you need help with your heating bills over the winter, that's not a public benefit for this.
وحاجات تانية برضه ما بتعتبر public benefit اللي هو المساعدات في فواتير الكهرباء اللي هو الهيت في الشتاء ولا كده برضه ما بيعتبر public benefit. ولا لو الأطفال اللي بدوهم لانش مساعدات في اللانش للمدرسة برضه ده ما يعتبر public benefit. And what's chip and WIC?
WIC is
وكان بدون لبن وحاجات من under 5
للبيبيز اندر
Okay. And برضه النساء الحوامل برضه اللي بياخدوا مساعدات ما بيعتبر public benefit.
Doesn't apply for childcare services, use of the Head Start program, job training programs, or any community-based services. So any soup kitchens or anything that the community provides, that a city of Iowa City would provide, things like that, it doesn't count.
برضه المساعدات اللي بيقدمها مجتمع ايوا برضه ما بتعتبر public benefit. ولا مساعدة الchild care الدي كير والحاجات دي برضه ما بتعتبر public benefit.
So this rule is going into effect on February 24th, this month. Any applications, green card applications, that are postmarked before that date still fall under the old rule. So if you've been kind of getting your stuff together to file for your green card, you better get it done. Okay? As long as it's postmarked before February 24th.
والقانون الجديد ده هيبدأ يتطبق في فبراير 24. فلو انت بتقدم لجرين كارد اعمله قبل التاريخ ده، لانه لو قدمت قبل التاريخ ده هيكون لسه مع القانون القديم ما في حاجة هتكون ضدك. فلو انت في الايام دي عايز قدم قبل يوم فبراير 24.
Remember, if you have refugee status or asylee status and are getting ready to file for your green card, you can still file after the February 24th because this doesn't apply to you.
ولو انت لاجئ ممكن تقدم بعد يوم 24 لانه القانون ما هيطبق عليك anyway.
And just to note, February 24th is a Monday. Post offices are closed on Sunday. So you need to have it postmarked by February 22nd, Saturday. It doesn't have to be received by immigration by February 22nd. It has to be postmarked by February 22nd.
ويوم فبراير 24 هو يوم اثنين، فأحسن تعمل يوم السبت عشان لحد ما يصلهم يكون already application بتاعك جاهز يوم الاثنين.
لما يترسل بتاريخ 22 يعني.
اوكي الستامب بتاع البوسطة يكون يوم السبت عشان يترسل يوم 24 يوم الاثنين.
Okay. So, let me get here real quick. So if you determine that you get your application filed after February 24th, you determine that yes, you are going to be subject to this new public charge. You might be thinking, okay, well, what does that really mean? So in addition to that I-864 application, there is a new application, I-944, and it is horrible.
في application جديد اسمه I-944 وقالت انه هيكون صعب شوية التقديم الجديد.
This is the form. It's 18 pages long.
Wow.
It is the most invasive form I have ever seen for immigration. When I applied to become an attorney, we had to go through this whole process to get licensed by the state, and it's not quite that bad, but it's bad.
Just as bad.
This one is worse. Yeah, this is almost as bad as applying.
Okay. وده الابلكيشن الجديد وهو 18 صفحة، وقالت لما هي قدمت عشان
تاخذ الرخصة
يدوها الرخصة بتاعت المحاماة يعني كان أحسن من الابلكيشن الجديد ده.
So you have to divulge way more information in this application than you have had to do in any other application with immigration. You have to put the information of every household member in your house. Anybody that's living in your house, any of your children that are in your house, your spouse, all of their information.
ومفروض تكتب معلومات كل زول موجود في بيتك.
You have to provide the tax information for all the people in your household.
مفروض برضو تكتب معلومات التاكس بتاعت أي زول في البيت.
You have to provide a credit report for the people in your household.
Wow. Oh my God, this is brilliant.
Yes.
المفروض برضه تدي معلومات كريدت لأي زول في بيتك برضه.
Or if you don't have credit, a report that says you don't have credit.
أو لو ما عندك كريدت ممكن تكتب إنه ما عندك.
You have to report the assets of people in your household. I mean, it's just, you know, if you thought applying to buy a house was a lot of information you have to provide, it's not too far off in this application.
المفروض برضه تكتب ممتلكات كل زول في البيت. فده تقريبا أصعب من إنك تقدم لي بيت.
You have to list all of your debts in this application: mortgages, car loans, credit card debt, education loans, tax debts, everything.
المفروض برضه تكتب كل الديون اللي عندك.
انت وناس البيت كلهم
وأنت وناس البيت كلهم.
You have to provide information about health insurance for you and all your household members.
برضه تكتب التأمين الصحي اللي عندك اللي هو أنت وكل الناس اللي في بيتك.
And you have to disclose on the application public benefits received.
وبرضه تكتب كل المساعدات الحكومية اللي اتلقيتها.
So it's monstrous. We immigration attorneys are not looking forward to having to fill out these forms, and definitely be prepared for your attorney's fees to go up because of this form.
وبرضه على الابلكيشن الجديد ده نستعد إنه المفروض تدفع للمحامي أكتر لأنه الموضوع بقى أطول.
Don't kill a messenger.
So that this form, the I-944 form, I-944 is the form that they're going to use to determine whether they think you are inadmissible because of public benefits, okay? Remember, receipt of public benefits is just one factor that they can use in determining whether they think you're likely to become a public charge in the future.
والابلكيشن ده هيستخدموه عشان يعرفوا لو انت هتاخد مساعدات ولا لا. وبرضه تذكروا انك بتاخد مساعدات ده عامل واحد من عوامل كتير اللي بيأثر لو هيدوك جرين كارد ولا لا.
And again, because you're putting all the information for your household members on here, when you file your taxes and you're listing dependents on your taxes, they better be living with you. All right, don't be putting anybody down. You shouldn't be doing that anyway, but this is just a reminder. Don't be listing people as dependents on your taxes that are not really your dependents.
ولما تملي للتاكس وتكتب الناس المعتمدين عليك مفروض يكونوا نفس الناس المكتوبين في الابلكيشن بتاع الجرين كارد.
عايشين معك في البيت.
المفروض يكونوا عايشين معك برضه في نفس البيت، ما تكتب ناس ما قاعدين معك.
دي تعمل مشكلة.
Okay, that's very important. Don't put people as dependents on your tax form that are not your dependents. Don't put your great-great-nephew on there. Don't put your parent that's living abroad and you're not supporting on there. Nope, whoever, your children, your spouse, whoever, anybody you have guardianship over, that should be it.
فدايما خد الناس اللي ساكنين معاك والحقيقي معتمدين عليك في نفس البيت في الفورمز بتاعتك.
I mean, I know none of you are doing that. I'm just, spread the word to people you think might need that message.
هي ما بتقول إنه أي زول بيعمل كده، لكن بس يعني نصيحة عشان الأمور ما تمشي غلط لقدام.
So if you are receiving one of those public benefits, or you did, and remember, it's only benefits that, if you're applying through your green card, that you are receiving as of February 24th or later. So anything that you've received up until this point, doesn't matter, doesn't count.
فأي مساعدة أنت ماخذها لحد اليوم ما بتتحسب. أي شيء بيطبق بعد يوم 24 فبراير.
So even if you did or you do, things happen. We fall on hard times. Our economy, you never know. If you use one of those benefits, again, you, not your children, not your spouse, you. That's still just one of the factors. If you've got a good paying job, or you have these other things, you're young and educated, and things that you can use to overcome to say, okay, maybe I had a rough part in my life, but I'm going to be able to support myself, or I've proven that even after that brief use of benefits, I haven't been on benefits, okay? So it's not, if you received a benefit, you're done. That's one of the factors that they're going to look into.
وده ما معناه إنه لو أنت عندك مساعدات من الحكومة معناه إنه خلاص أنت مع الببليك تشارج. في برضو العوامل اللي قلناها في البداية اللي هي زي العمر والصحة وشغلك وتعليمك والحياة دي كلها.
So I received some questions about, we'll do questions afterwards too, but I just want to make sure I get these first. I think I covered most of this stuff, but you know, if you have your green card, this doesn't affect you. You already have your green card, okay? So this public charge rule doesn't apply to you, okay? It's very important that you understand that. So if you're receiving benefits and you have your green card, you don't have to get off of them, okay? If you need those resources, use them. If you're a citizen and getting benefits, will you be able to sponsor relatives or friends on visitor visas? Well, technically, when you're coming on a visitor visa, that person is applying for a visitor visa on their own. You're not sponsoring them. I know sometimes the consulate wants a letter from you, right? But you're not sponsoring them. That's different, okay?
اوكي وكمان لو انت already عندك جرين كارد وبتستخدم المساعدات الحكوميه دي ما توقفها لانه ما في حاجه ممكن يمسكوها ضدك. وكمان لو انت مواطن وعندك المساعدات دي برضو عادي ما في شيء يمسكوه ضدك. And the other question was about sponsorship.
Yeah, just for visitor visas, you're not technically sponsoring a visitor.
اوكي ولما ما ممكن تكون كفيل لزول جاي زياره لامريكا لانه زول ده بيقدم براه في فيزيتور فيزا ما انت كفيل له.
بس بيسألوا منك يعني.
It's you're not sponsoring them though. That's different. If you're sponsoring, you're filing an I-130 and bringing them here based on a family-based petition. I understand that the consulates want like a letter from you basically saying you're going to take care of all their expenses while they're here, right? But it's different. They're applying for a visitor visa in their home country in Sudan, wherever they're at. And their responsibility, their most important responsibility is for them to prove to the consulate officer that they're going to go back, that they're not going to come to the U.S. and stay. That's really the most important thing. If that officer thinks for 1 second that they're just going to use that visitor visa and stay here and not go back, it doesn't matter how many resources they have, they're not going to give them that visitor visa.
فالناس اللي جايين زيارة من دول تانية مفروض يثبتوا للقنصلية إنهم حيرجعوا بلدهم تاني. فلو الأوفيسر يعني حاسة إنه أنت ممكن تجي هنا بزيارة وتكسر هو ما حيديك الزيارة دي. فأهم شيء إنك تثبت لهم إنك أنت حترجع تاني بلدك بعد ما تزور أمريكا.
Okay, we talked about that. How long can green card holders stay overseas?
Yes.
5.5 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less than 6 months.
That's it. And that's a rule that has applied to immigration for a long time. If you are outside of the U.S. for more than 6 months at a time, they can presume that you've abandoned your green card and take away your green card. You have to be living in the United States if you have a green card. It's legal permanent resident, not legal permanent visitor for 2 weeks and that's it. Okay? If you're not living here in the United States, then you're not complying with the terms of your green card, and immigration has every right to take it away. Okay? You have to be living in the United States more than you're outside.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean come in, go back for 3 months, stay here for a week, go back for 3 months, stay here a week. You can't come back every 6 months for a week or 2 weeks and consider that complying with the terms of your green card.
Yep.
Even vacation, it says that vacation is a problem if you want to go to vacation. I hear it in some video that you have to apply for something that let you come back to America. You have to show it for the immigration officer, not immigration, the one who in the airport, that you can't show him that there is a form that to return back to America, even if you go to vacation.
No, that's just if you're going to be out for a year or more. So sometimes you might know that you're going to be gone for longer, right? You might know that I'm going for a job for more than a year, or I'm going to study abroad for more than a year. Then you can apply for an application with immigration that lets them know. It's basically a heads up that, hey, I'm going to be gone for this long. I'm not abandoning my residency. I'm coming back. don't take away my residency. If you're just going on vacation, even if it's up to 5 months, you don't need that form.
For green card or US citizen?
U.S. citizens, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can be out as long as you want to if you're a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
You can leave and never come back to the United States, and you will still maintain your U.S. citizenship.
Okay, yeah, good.
فلو انت عندك اقامه دائمه جرين كارد ما تطلع اكثر من 6 شهور، لانه لو طلعت حيفترضوا انه انت تخليت عن اقامتك وبيكون عندهم الحق ياخدوها منك. ف5 شهور بالكثير، اكثر من 6 شهور ما ممكن، لكن في مرات ظروف، في ناس بيكونوا ماشيين يدرسوا برا سنه او اكثر، ففي ابلكيشن ممكن تمليه لل ناس الاميجريشن توريهم انه انا عندي ظرف ممكن امشي سنه وارجع، لكن ما تشيله من الجرين كارد انه انا حرجع.
Okay, so before we start answering questions, I'm just going to briefly go over the diversity lottery stuff because there's not really much to say, okay?
Okay.
If you already won the diversity lottery and you already got your green card, don't worry about anything. You're a permanent resident, well, don't worry about that, okay? If you're applying, if you have family overseas in Sudan or anywhere else that's applying for the diversity lottery, the travel ban, the extended travel ban does apply to them.
Does it apply if they do it before 24 or?
It applies unless you had the visa in hand by the 20th? Yeah, by the February date.
والناس اللي في السودان مقدمين لجرين كارد الحاجة حتطبق عليهم ما دام ما عندهم الفيزا قبل يوم 24 فبراير.
So if they want it and they don't have it yet, it's going to apply to them. They have to have the visa in hand, able to get on a plane in order for this ban not to apply to them.
So they get a visa, but they don't come in yet before.
They have the visa in hand, they should be okay.
طول ما عندهم الفيزا واستلموها ممكن لسه يجوا قبل يوم 24 فبراير، لكن لو جاتهم بعدها ولا هناك
ما حيقدروا.
If they have the visa and haven't gotten here, they need to get a plane ticket and get here immediately.
ولو جاتهم الفيزا المفروض يجوا هنا بأسرع وقت ممكن.
Because once they come in and they get their permanent residency, then if they need to go back and tie up things and sell property and do whatever, they can do that.
Yeah.
Right now, their priority needs to be getting a plane ticket and getting here.
فلو انت مقدم من السودان وادوك الفيزا في يدك قبل يوم 24 فبراير اولويتك الاولى المفروض تكون انك تجي هنا باسرع وقت ممكن.
So this just applies to people who are applying for the diversity lottery and they're overseas. If you're here in the United States, let's say you're here on a student visa, right, and you're applying for the diversity lottery, if you can change your status here in the United States, that ban's not going to apply to you.
A student visa here and applying for green card doesn't apply.
No, you diversity later.
Oh, okay. So لو انت هنا بفيزا بتاعت student كطالب وبتقدم لللوتري برضو ممكن you can apply, right? Yeah, ممكن تقدم ما في مشكلة.
So the travel ban for Sudan for the diversity lottery only applies to people that are outside the United States. If you're already here, if you're here on an H-1B visa or a student visa or any other non-immigrant visa, if you win and qualify for the diversity lottery here and can adjust here, meaning you don't have to go back to Sudan, then you're still going to be able to adjust here. You're going to have to do this horrible new I-944 form and go all through all that stuff. The travel ban is only subject to people outside of the United States.
So لو انت already في امريكا ممكن تقدم، لكن القانون ده mostly ضد الناس اللي برا السودان برا امريكا وعايزين يقدموا لللوتري.
And again, the extension of that travel ban, very important to remember, it doesn't apply to immigrant visas. So if you are filing for family to bring family over here, it doesn't apply to them. It's just the diversity lottery winners from Sudan. So it could have been a lot worse.
Yep.
It's not great, but...
So if you're in Sudan and applying to bring your family here, you can still go ahead. Okay. فأنت لو في السودان وعايز تقدم لعائلتك كلهم يجوا ممكن تقدم، لكن ما ممكن تقدم للdiversity lottery.
And there is, even under the travel ban, there is a waiver that you can apply for. So your families can still apply to play the diversity lottery. And if they win, then there's a waiver process that they have to go through with the consulate. It's a case-by-case basis. But if the consulate says, okay, they can still grant the visa. It just means longer wait times, more paperwork, a lot more work, but it's still theoretically possible. Diversity lottery.
Okay. وفي so if you win the lottery and you want to bring your family? Or
No. إذا
The
قدم.
lottery over in Sudan.
outside? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you'll go to your consulate interview and they'll say, we can't approve this because of the ban. You can apply for a waiver.
waiver. Okay.
But it's
اوكي فلو انت في السودان وفزت باللوتري ومشيت للقنصليه وقال لك انه في القانون الجديد ده ما ممكن اخليك تسافر، ممكن تقدم لاعفاء، لكن برضه حيكون فورم طويل وحيكون عايزين لك معلومات كثيره عشان يدوك الحاله دي.
And there are standards for that waiver, but really what it boils down to is whether the consulate wants to approve it or not. It's not like a regular waiver for like unlawful presence or criminal stuff or the typical immigration waiver. It's really up to the consulate.
والإحفاء ده في النهاية القنصلية بتقرر لو تديك له ولا لا.
And again, that just applies to filing for the diversity lottery and you're outside of the United States. If you've already made it to the U.S. on your diversity lottery, don't worry about it. It doesn't apply to you. You're here. You got your green card. You're good.
ومرة تانية ده بس بتطبق على الناس اللي برا أمريكا وعايزين يقدموا بلوتري لأمريكا، فما دام أنت already في أمريكا ما عندك مشكلة.
So that's the overview of both the public charge rules and the diversity lottery with the travel ban for Sudan. So I think we're going to go through questions here. And yeah.
so saying is time for
جويرية الأخير منتهي أنها
الآن قدمت للجنسية وأخذت المساعدات، هل يتم رفض الطلب أم أو هل المفروض يكون معي محامي؟ So he's just now applying for citizenship and he received public benefits. So he's wondering if his citizenship application would be rejected.
Nope. If you're applying for citizenship, public charge rule does not apply to you. It only applies to people applying for their green card now. So if you've received benefits, no. If you are eligible for citizenship, you need to apply. Please, please. If you're eligible to naturalize, do it.
فلا القانون ده ما عنده شيء ضدك مدام هو بس للناس المقدمين الجرين كارد، فانت لو بتقدم الجنسيه عادي ما عندك مشكله.
And as an incentive to do it sooner rather than later, as you know, immigration is about ready to increase the filing fees. Currently, the citizenship application is $725, and you can apply for a fee waiver if you need it. When they increase the fee, it's going to be, I think it's $1,170 or 1,000, yeah. And fee waivers are pretty much going away. So it's going to increase by a lot. So get your citizenship applications in.
فلصاحب السؤال ده لو أي شيء قدم بأسرع وقت ممكن ما عندك مشكلة، لأنه الفيز للتقديم للجنسية حتزيد، فكانت 700 وستقدم 1170 وممكن حتى يشيلوا الإحفاء بتاع إنك ممكن ما تدفع.
And you need to apply for citizenship so you can become a citizen so you can participate in the elections. Okay? The travel ban, all the travel bans that we've had, and particularly, and including the one applying to the diversity lottery, is an executive order. Okay, that means that this President Trump, is the one that put it into place, which means if we have a different president, a different administration, they could choose to withdraw that effective immediately on day one of their presidency.
كمان قدم الجنسية عشان تقدر تشارك في الانتخابات. القرار الجديد ده هو من الرئيس من ترامب، فأنت لو تقدر تصوت ممكن نغير الحالة دي في المستقبل ويكون عندنا رئيس ممكن يشيل
الحاجة
القرار ده.
Okay. Does the green card holder being affected when traveling outside the U.S. if he is using benefits?
فالسؤال هو الصاحب اللي عنده جرين كارد هل بيتأثر لو سافر برا أمريكا وهو بيستخدم مساعدات من الحكومة؟
So again, if you have your green card already and you're using benefits, really the only way that that can affect you is if you're outside of the U.S. for more than 6 months at a time. Okay? If you're out for more than 6 months at a time, or if you're really not living here in immigration, you know, if you're coming back for a week every 6 months and that's it, then yes, immigration is going to predetermine that maybe you're inadmissible. So 5.5 months max. Okay?
هل تنصحون بترك الدعومات الحكومية مثل الفود ستامب أم الاستمرار فيها؟ So they're asking if should we stop relying on public benefits like food stamps, or do we continue taking them?
If you qualify for those benefits and you need those benefits, use those benefits. Okay? Especially if you already have your green card, if you're already a citizen, if you're getting them for your U.S. citizen children. There's a reason why those benefits are there. If you need them, use them. Okay? Don't let your kids go hungry. Don't you go hungry. That's not what we want. All right? So if you need those benefits and you qualify for them, use them. Just understand that if you are not a permanent resident yet and you need to file for your green card, it could possibly affect your eligibility.
فلو أنت محتاج ومؤهل للمساعدات دي استمر فيهم، لكن لو أنت عايز تقدم الجرين كارد خد في بالك إنه ممكن القانون يمسك الحالة دي ضدك. The next question is, my wife came to the U.S. in 2017 and she got a green card. She's in Sudan now. She will be back on February 28th. My question is, will the new law affect my wife? فهو قال زوجتي جات لي أمريكا في 2017 وعندها جرين كارد. هي في السودان هسي وحترجع يوم 28 فبراير. هل القانون الجديد ده حيأثر على زوجتي؟
So that depends how long she's been gone when she left. Okay, so if she left 6 months ago and has been out for more than 6 months, it could possibly affect her, yes.
فهو بيحتمل إنه هي طلعت من أمريكا لها كم، فلو أكثر من 6 شهور ممكن هاي يأثر عليها.
So that means if she's been gone for a while, she needs to get back here before February 24th.
فلو هي برا لها فترة مفروض ترجع قبل يوم 24.
If she's only been gone for 2 or 3 months or whatever, it's fine. But if she's hitting that 6-month mark, she needs to change her plane to get here before February 24th.
فلو لها شهرين ولا 3 ما مشكلة، لكن لو قربت على 6 شهور مفروض ترجع قبل يوم 24.
So it says my wife's appointment is coming up, and does this affect my wife? I don't know if she's applying. Is she having her appointment abroad, or is she having her appointment here in the United States? The person that wrote that question.
ممكن الزول يوضح لها؟
صاحب السؤال.
لا خلص بالسؤال يوضح لها.
At the U.S. Embassy?
So technically the public charge rule doesn't technically apply overseas, right? If you're applying for your visa overseas.
She got an appointment February 20th.
Right.
And if she gets accepted, she's not going to get the visa immediately, right?
It usually takes at least 2 or 3 days, sometimes a couple weeks.
She's a petitioner for her,
Mhm.
not lottery. So
Oh, is it?
she's coming by petition.
Right, by an I-130 petition, not the diversity lottery.
Yes.
Okay. Then if you won by the diversity lottery, but you're filing an I-130 for your spouse to come, that's not them getting it through the diversity lottery. That's them getting it through marriage to a permanent resident or a U.S. citizen. So the travel ban does not apply. Okay? If you're talking about the public charge rule, again, technically it only applies to green card applications here. But I will tell you that, like my cases in Mexico, they've basically been applying this public charge rule since before October.
He came with the diversity lottery, and she's coming in with the.
She's not coming into the diversity lottery though.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
if you, let's say I won the diversity lottery and I want to bring my husband here. He's coming as the spouse of a permanent resident, not a diversity lottery spouse. So the travel ban doesn't apply to him.
Yep.
It's only people that are applying for the diversity lottery overseas. So if you got the diversity lottery, first of all, congratulations for winning. Second of all, she's not coming based on the diversity lottery now. She's coming based on a regular I-130 petition, spouse of a permanent resident. So the travel ban does not apply to her.
والقانون برضه ما بتطبق ضد لو زوجك عنده دخل باللوتري وانت عايز تدخل زوجك اللي هو برا امريكا، فهو بيجي عبر انه هو زوج قائم مدين قائم
إقامة دائمة.
فهو ما جاي كأنه هو من اللوتري، فالحالة دي ما بتطبق عليه.
The only caveat to that is if they're following to join. So if she's coming based on that, let's say he came 5 months ago and she's coming following to join after him, and she's going to be entering as a DV2, then that travel ban is going to apply. So if you're following to join, meaning you're just coming later than the person who won the diversity lottery, then that travel ban will still apply.
Yes. يعني الاثنين جاتنا اللوتري الاثنين وفجأة قدامه وهي جايه لحقاه، اذا جات بعد التاريخ ده يقول ابلاي الرول فيها.
اوكي، فلو انتوا الاثنين جاكم اللوتري وهو جا قبلك، الزول الثاني برضه المفروض يجي قبل يوم 24 فبراير ولا حيكون ضده؟ بعد قرار ترامب الأخير بالنسبة لدخول السودانيين إلى أمريكا، ما موقف الذين فازوا باللوتري هذا العام؟ So this person is asking about after Trump's new executive decision, what about Sudanese who come to America who already won the lottery this year? So,
I covered that already, but if you already won and you're here, you made it. Don't worry. The travel ban doesn't apply to you.
Even if you didn't get the visa, but you said if you get the visa, you are okay.
If you already have the visa, you're okay.
If you are not,
if you haven't gotten it, let's say you won, but you haven't had your interview yet at the consulate, then you're going to be subject to the travel ban.
Yep.
طول ما عندك الفيزا ما عندك مشكلة، لكن لو لسه انت في البروسس انه عايز يدوك الفيزا ممكن يكون في مشكلة.
How about the new one?
What new one?
New lottery.
There is no new lottery.
No, the one we already applied for.
ما في حتكون.
We already
ما قلت لك
applied
إذا ما
for one.
استلمت الفيزا ما بتشتغل.
The result is going to be in February in
ما خلاص كله داخل في القرار ده.
Travel ban will apply to anyone.
والابلاي اي زول بعد يوم 24. بالله بشرب مويه يحلي والله. صوري لي يا غادة. جويرية ممكن تساعدها في القراية؟ أقرأها العربي. أنا بدي أشيل الأنصرز كلها عشان لو في زول سأل.
أسأل عن إجراءات الحضور لأمريكا. لدي ابنتي الآن بجمهورية مصر العربية ومسجلة بمكتب الأمم المتحدة للشؤون اللاجئين، وكذلك تم ملء استمارة لم الشمل قبل سنة، علما أنني لدي الجنسية الأمريكية وجميع أسرتي كذلك.
دي ما عندها مشكلة دي. اسمها شنو حقت هنا دي؟ اسمها شنو لم الشمل دي؟
This person has a daughter in Egypt at the moment, and he has American citizenship. So he's asking about bringing her over to the United States.
This is for family reunion.
Reunion.
Yeah. If you're a citizen and you're applying for family members to come to the United States, it's the same process it has been. So the travel ban only applies to diversity lottery abroad. It doesn't apply to family petitions. Okay.
أيوة، طول ما أنت عندك جنسية ما المفروض يكون عندك مشكلة.
Yes, if you are a U.S. citizen and you're receiving public benefits, yes, you can still file for your family members to come to the U.S. They will look at, when they have their interview at the consulate, again, technically the public charge rule isn't applying to consulate applications right now, but in essence, the consulates are kind of applying the rule. But it's the applicant. Is the applicant likely to become a public charge, not the petitioner?
فلو انت مواطن وعايز تقدم لعائلتك تجي امريكا، هما ما حيعاينوا لك انت. لو انت ممكن تكون في المساعدات، حيعاينوا للزول اللي انت بتجيبه لو هو possibly ممكن يكون يستخدم مساعدات حكومية.
Just another plug for making sure you're registered to vote and voting if you're a citizen. So these changes have been brought about by the current administration, and the processing times are super long right now for bringing family members to the United States. It's taking well over a year, sometimes closer to 2.5 years, for people to be able to come on a regular family petition. So again, if there's a change in the administration this year in November, and that we have a new administration, maybe some of these difficulties will go away.
في الفترة الأخيرة كان في صعوبات كثيرة في الناس اللي عايزين يجيبوا أهلهم لأمريكا، مرات كان بياخد سنة أو سنتين. فبنقول إنه hopefully في شهر نوفمبر ده ممكن نقدر نغير الحكومة دي.
دقيقة.
This person is asking about
الورقة أول.
ما هو موقف الآباء من الحصول على الجواز إذا كان الأطفال لديهم مساعدات حكومية. So a parent that wants to apply for citizenship and their kids are having public benefits.
Yep, doesn't matter if you're applying for citizenship, if you're receiving benefits, if your kids are receiving benefits, it doesn't matter. So it only applies to if you're filing for a green card. So get your citizenship filed.
فما عندك مشكلة لأنه القانون ده بس على الناس المقدمين لجرين كارد. لو أنت عايز تقدم للجنسية ما عندك مشكلة.
So this person is basically asking, in the past they traveled and they were out for more than 6 months, and they're planning on traveling again. So it's if you're gone for more than 6 months at a time, or basically if you're outside the United States for a majority of the year. You have to be living in the United States, physically present in the United States 51% of the year. Okay? So if you were out for 7 months and it's been a year and you're going to leave again, if you're going for a couple months, you should be fine. But you just need to be really cognizant about how much time you're spending outside the U.S. until you become a U.S. citizen. Once you're a U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter. You can be out however long you want. Until you're a U.S. citizen, you need to watch your time.
فقبل ما تبقى مواطن أمريكي مفروض تكون حذر في الوقت اللي بتقضيه برا أمريكا، لأنه مفروض تكون 51% من السنة تكون قاعد جوا أمريكا.
And for that particular case, that's really case specific. So I would recommend that you just talk to an immigration attorney with your specific facts to really know.
والأسئلة دي مرات بتعتمد على الكيس، فدايما نراجع مع محامي عشان تتأكد.
كاتب نمرة 1 تأثير المساعدات المالية للأطفال فود ستامب وميديكيد على الوالدين. تأثير المساعدات المالية للسكن عليه استلام الجنسية. لدي 3 أطفال لم يستلموا الجرين كارد حتى الآن. تم التقديم لهم من أغسطس 2019. هل يشملهم القرار؟ He's asking about the effects of all the financial benefits. Asking about food stamps for his kids and housing. He has 3 kids. They didn't have their green cards yet, knowing that he applied for it in August 2019. Does this affect them? I think it depends on the status, what are they applying for a green card based on. I don't know who wrote that question, if you can clarify that. They're applying for a green card. They're here and they're applying for a green card based on what? Are they like lottery? Are they asylee? Are they? So they already have their visa. They're physically here, and they're waiting for their green cards. So they moved in. They came in, and they're waiting for their green cards. Does that affect them if they are receiving benefits physically?
So they're already permanent residents, they just haven't gotten their physical green card yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he said
they're permanent resident.
It doesn't affect them. So they're already here. They got their visa. They're just waiting for the green card. It shouldn't apply to them.
Yeah, this one is kind of like that too. They just got here on the diversity lottery, and they haven't physically gotten their green card yet. So if you came in on the diversity lottery and you came to the United States on that visa and they put that stamp in your passport and admitted you as a permanent resident, you are a permanent resident. Your green card is just proof that you're a permanent resident, but it doesn't control that you're a permanent resident. Just like you're a citizen of Sudan, even if you don't have a Sudanese passport, okay? So if you're just waiting for that card to come, and they're sometimes taking a long time now, if you got that stamp on your passport that admitted you as a permanent resident, you are a permanent resident, okay? The public charge rule doesn't apply to you.
فطول ما انت عندك جرين كارد، طول ما انت عندك إقامة دائمة، القانون ده المفروض يكون في تخوف منه.
Just remember though that if you are not a citizen, there are only certain public benefits that you're going to be eligible for. So if you have your green card, you're not going to be eligible for everything of the public benefits. Okay?
So this question has 2 parts. من هو المستهدف بالقانون الجديد? So who is being targeted by this new rule?
Everybody. Poor people, unfortunately, if you have limited income or have used resources, that's really who's being targeted. They're not trying to stop wealthy people from coming into the United States. Well, the only people they're not trying to stop, honestly. But it applies to everybody.
Not just the Sudanese?
Not just the Sudanese. Oh no. This public charge rule applies to everybody applying for a green card, whether you're from Sudan, China, Germany. It doesn't. Canada, it doesn't matter. If you're applying for a green card, it applies to your nationality, your country of nationality, or your country of citizenship doesn't matter. Okay? It's an equal opportunity destroyer.
The new law, what I hear is the new law is for the green card holder.
Yes.
You already have a green card, and they do the new rules about the benefits, the new rules about going in and out America, the new rules. If you have a resident outside America, they can remove your green card, or you can remove out. You can be out of the United States due to deportation. Yeah, that is the new rules. That's why that's the thing that we want to know.
No, there's no. If you have your green card, you have your green card. Okay. The only way you can lose your green card is if you abandon it, and you have to sign a specific form saying I'm giving up my green card, or if an immigration judge takes it away. Not a CBP officer, not some random person on the street, not an ICE officer. It is an immigration judge. There are due process rights that you have before they can take away your residency. So if you have a green card and you're receiving benefits, the only way receiving public benefits is going to affect you is if you're outside the United States for 6 months or more. Yes. I see you shaking your head, but I'm telling you what the law is.
I'm not checking I'm confused about now about you are talking a lot about the lottery and diversity visa and this stuff, and you are worried about the green card holder. You already have a green card, but this the new law affects you because you have a benefit or you go outside America. I hear it in the news that if you are outside America or if you go in and out America, some people there's deportation about this. And if you have a resident in other country, if you are a resident in Canada, if you are a resident in overseas, you have two residents in United States and outside America, you will be deportation.
No.
I hear it. And
Okay, I totally believe you that you heard it, but we all know what you hear on the news. You can't always believe, right? Especially depending on what news you're watching. So if you are a permanent resident, again, if you already have your green card, the only way public benefits can affect you is if you're outside the U.S. for more than 6 months at a time. If you take a quick 2 or 3 month trip outside the United States and you come back, doesn't matter. Okay? There are other grounds of inadmissibility besides this public charge that you could be affected by. So if you have a criminal record and you leave the United States, yes, they can try to deport you based on that criminal record. But it's not because of this rule change. It's because of that criminal record. This rule change only applies if you're outside the United States for 6 months or more. Or yes, if you committed a crime and you leave and you're coming back. So for example, marijuana possession. If you have a green card and you have one conviction for marijuana possession, it doesn't make you deportable. But if you travel, if you leave the United States and come back from vacation, when you come back, it's a ground of inadmissibility. And then you could become subject to these public charge rules. Okay? So there are certain things that are going to affect you if you're a green card holder, but it really doesn't have anything to do with these public charge rules. It has to do with these are the rules that have been that way for immigration. Okay? Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay. Be wary of what you read on the news. I get super frustrated watching the news sometimes and listening to reporters report about immigration, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is not what it is. That is not what it is. And you'll hear all the time, new immigration law has been passed. No, it was maybe a bill that was introduced. That's not going to go anywhere. So if you have questions, call an immigration attorney, all right? They'll tell you within 5 minutes of like, trust me, we watch the news every day. So if there's something big that happens, we're going to know about it.
فدايما كونوا حذرين من الحاجات اللي بتسمعوها في الأخبار لأنه ما دايما بتكون صحيحة على حسب القانون. فأنت طول ما عندك جرين كارد أنت عندك جرين كارد ما عندك مشكلة. المشكلة الوحيدة لو عندك جرين كارد وطلعت برا أمريكا لأكثر من 6 شهور، ولا لو عندك سجل إجرامي وطلعت برا أمريكا وحاولت ترجع بعدين ممكن ما يدخلوك.
Okay, I have a question here that doesn't really have to do with the stuff we're talking about tonight, but I'll answer it anyway. Someone's a U.S. citizen and they have a felony conviction. Can they still apply to bring their family to the United States?
فلو زول هو مواطن أمريكي وعنده سجل إجرامي هل ممكن يقدم لزوجه إنه يجي أمريكا؟
So if you're a U.S. citizen, really the only crimes that are going to prevent you from bringing your family members to the United States, if you have convictions for like kidnapping or child sexual abuse, things like that. Okay, so if it's not one of those felonies, then you can still petition for your family member to come to the United States.
فالجريمتين الوحيدات اللي ممكن يمنعوك من انك تجيب زوجك لو انت مواطن وعندك سجل اجرامي اللي هم الاختطاف ولا الاعتداء الجنسي ضد الاطفال.
So they're asking if public benefits like living.
هل المساعدات المحلية مثال السكن في الحلة و public section و section 8 تعتبر public benefit. So they're asking if local benefits like living in section 8 or is that considered public benefit?
Yep, section 8 housing is considered a public benefit. But again, if you're already a green card holder, if you already have a green card, it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, and it's if you are receiving that Section 8 housing. So,
فهي بتعتبر public benefit، لكن طول ما انت عندك green card ولا انت مواطن ما المفروض يكون في مشكلة. أنا عندي جنسية ممكن أقدم للعائلة يعني الأولاد. They have citizenship and they're asking if they want to apply for their family and their kids to come to the United States.
ده حاجة بقولك for sure.
Yes.
Do it. Yeah.
أيوة ممكن. أنا حقدم للجنسية الأمريكية يوم 15/3 والآن أسكن في السكن الحكومي. هل هذا يؤثر على التقديم أم أواصل السكن وأقدم عادي؟
تواصل عادي.
ممكن تقدم عادي ما مشكلة. فطول ما أنت فهو بس بيطبق على الناس اللي عندهم مقدمين لجرين كارد، لكن طول ما أنت عندك مقدم الجنسية ما المفروض يكون عندك مشكلة. So they were just asking they already have citizens applying for their naturalization and they live here. أنا عندي جرين كارد. هل الإعانة مثل السكن والدعم للأطفال في المدارس مثل الوجبات ودفع الرسوم الدراسية والمنح تؤثر عليه في التقديم للجنسية؟ So they already have their green card and they're applying for public benefits and they're asking if that will affect their citizenship. So أيوة برضه ما بيأثر في حاجة. سؤال عن حاملي الجنسية الأمريكية: متى يحق للحكومة أخذ الجنسية أو سحب الجنسية؟ هل عدد السنوات له علاقة بحاملي الجنسية الأمريكية؟ They're asking for people who already have American citizenship. They're asking when can the government take away your citizenship?
Once you're a U.S. citizen, really the only ways you can lose your citizenship is if you obtained it by fraud. So if you got your original green card or your original citizenship by fraud, for any sort of terrorism act or anything like that, they can revoke it. If you abandon your resident or your citizenship, so when you become a U.S. citizen here, I believe Sudan lets you keep your Sudanese citizenship, doesn't it?
Yes, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So let's say you decide, I'm going to go to Canada and live in Canada, and you want to become a citizen of Canada. You could possibly lose your U.S. citizenship if you apply for citizenship in Canada. The United States doesn't control whether you keep your Sudanese citizenship, but we get a say in whether you keep U.S. citizenship if you apply to become a citizen of another country after you became a U.S. citizen. Okay?
So in certain countries, if you have your citizenship,
So yeah, there are certain countries where you have to choose. Like if you want to naturalize and become a U.S. citizen, the home country will say that's fine, but then you're going to lose citizenship here in our country. Not every country allows dual citizenship. Like the United States, we allow dual citizenship if you were born a dual citizen. So if you were born, like your kids are Sudanese citizens because they're your children. So the United States would recognize that they're dual citizens of the United States and Sudan, right?
Yep.
But if they were born in Sudan and then you moved to Germany and they got citizenship there and then you came to the U.S. and became citizens of the United States, we don't have to recognize the German citizenship necessarily. No, what am I thinking? It's any country that you apply for citizenship after you become a U.S. citizen, that the U.S. citizen gets a say in it. Okay?
اشرحي لهم دي كويس يعني.
فالحالات الوحيدة ممكن ياخذوا منك الجنسية اللي هو لو اكتشفوا انك انت غشيت في الابليكيشن او لو لقوك متورط في حالات إرهابية او لو انت براك تخليت عن الجنسية. وبعد ما تاخذ جنسيتك لو مشيت قدمت لجنسية في دولة تانية أمريكا حتقرر لو ممكن تاخذ الجنسية الثانية ولا لا، أو لو المفروض تتخلى عنها عشان يكون عندك جنسية دولة ثانية.
يعني بين وبين.
فأنت تختار بين أمريكا والدولة الثانية.
So I think that's all of our questions. I just want to say, I mean, I know we're all extremely exhausted from the 2 years that we've basically had politicians coming in and out of our state, and we're taking a little breather with the caucuses being over now. But I do just want to reiterate that if you're a citizen, please make sure that you're registered to vote, and please vote. If you are in the process of becoming a citizen, once you get your citizenship, make sure you're registered to vote and that you're voting. Because a lot of these negative changes that we've seen with immigration are a direct result of this administration. It's the administration that's doing it, okay? The laws haven't necessarily changed as much. It's that they're changing the process, how the cases are being processed. So this is your chance to have a say in our immigration laws of that, voicing your concerns. So I just very, very, very strongly advise, please, if you're a citizen, make sure that you're registered to vote and that you're voting. And make sure that you're making sure your family members are too. Yes.
So we're trying to understand what category of people this law is going to affect specifically. Because if you're applying for the permanent charge, if you're here and you're applying for green card. But if you're here, you're either going to be a green card holder, or you're asylee, or you're a refugee, or you're on a student visa, or you're on a job visa. And in all these situations, it's not going to affect you. So who is it going to affect? Who is going to be in the U.S. and not any of these and using benefits?
That's the problem, is that you have this public charge rule that's saying like who it's going to target, but in all honesty, a lot of the people that are receiving these benefits, this rule's not going to apply to. I mean, if the public charge rule is only going to be applying to people who are applying for a green card here in the United States, and even that, certain categories are going to be exempt. So refugees and asylees that are applying for their green card, this rule doesn't apply. VAWA applicants that are applying for the green card, this rule doesn't apply. So a lot of the groups that maybe have used benefits because they're eligible for them, it's not going to apply to them applying for their green card. So that was my question as well. That's all of our questions as immigration attorneys. Like, who are you trying to target here? It's creating fear. It's creating doubt. It's creating concern.
So this is just a wrap up. Who of us here needs to worry about this?
The people that need to worry about this rule is if you're applying for your green card and you're not a refugee or asylee or a U visa or VAWA applicant. So I guess if you were here on TPS and you're finally going to be able to apply for residency because your children are old enough to file for you, or maybe you get married to a U.S. citizen